Hello, sweet parents. Welcome to the When Our Adult Children Walk Away podcast. My name is Dr. Janet Steinkamp, and during each episode of When Our Adult Children Walk Away, I will provide my professional and personal insights, information and opportunities for your self-reflection and growth, tips and tricks to make every day count, and encouragement to keep moving forward. I'm here to help you dig deep and get down to the root causes so that you can find your way out of the darkness to a positive and lasting relationship. Grab your notebook and a pen, settle into your favorite chair, and let's get to it. Today, we are exploring the evolution of motherhood. As a baseline, let's all agree that motherhood is a process. It's continually changing. It's a lifelong role. We don't end our motherhood at 18 when our kids turn 18, right? It used to be that we thought once our children hit 18, they'd go off into the world and they were kind of on their own. Not so anymore. So in this episode, we are going to look at three primary seasons or phases of motherhood. We're going to look at the mom to a child, when we're a mom to an adult child, and when we're a grandmother to our adult children's children. We are going to look at how we communicate differently, the role that we take in each of these seasons, and we are going to look at how we move back and forth in the later stages between being mother to an adult child and grandmother to our adult child's children. This is the second of two episodes on this same topic. In the first topic, we really looked at defining or describing the two roles later in life, being a mom to an adult child, grandmother to our adult child's children, and how we need to move back and forth or flex between those two roles in real time, right? In the same hour, we could be having a direct conversation with our adult child and then trying to be grandma. And even when we are in that grandmother role, we are also simultaneously being the mom to our adult child. Very complex. It is not easy to move between these two roles. The better we can define it and understand the two roles, the more effective we're going to be and the more confidently we can move through and in both the roles. So let's just look at the three roles to begin with. In the stage of being a mom to a child, we are, as a mother, a nurturer, a protector, a teacher. Our core focus is love and guidance and stability, consistency. Our relational posture is to be present, attentive, and structured. That's different than mom to an adult child. When we move into that late adolescence and early adulthood, we begin to evolve our mothering from that child mom to the adult child mom. If we are not able to make that evolution, to move and grow with our adult child, we can grow the roots, begin to plant estrangement. We don't even know it's happening, right? And I made this mistake too. I did not change my mom role and how I was mom to my child as she grew through high school, into college, and then after college. I was doing the same things, talking to her the same way, same expectations, thought I was her friend, played that same role. And unfortunately, it did lead to an estrangement for 2 years. I didn't know where she was. I didn't know who she was with, what was going on. She had 2 babies, twin boys. So again, I didn't know where my grandkids were. When we are effective in making that transition, in moving through our child's growth and moving with them, then in the primary role, we become an advisor, a collaborator, and we're a very supportive equal, if they allow us to be equal. Sometimes we have to go to the back of the room and be an advisor and a collaborator and a supporter from the sidelines. Sometimes they bench us. That's what I would call estrangement. The core focus of our role as a mom to an adult child is to be respectful, to earn and protect the trust in our relationship, and to be autonomous from them, to have our own autonomy and ensure that we respect their autonomy. So we have our own lives, We understand and respect they have and need to have their own lives, and we can move back and forth. Our relational posture as a mom to an adult child is to be calm and reflective and mutually engaged. So we're interested in what they're interested in. Doesn't necessarily mean it's what we do with our spare time. It means we work to appreciate what they're interested in so we have that connection. And honestly, it's usually pretty interesting. We can learn things from our adult children. As a grandmother to our grandchildren, again, there's this evolutionary process where a mom to an adult child, and then they have children, and we get to be a grandmother, grandma. In our role to our adult children's children, we are working through them. They are allowing, if we're lucky, access to our grandchildren. In that role, when we are being grandma, we are also being a parent to our adult child, moving through that relationship and gaining access or interacting with our adult children's children. So when we're grandma, we're a supporter, an encourager, a connector, a role model for our grandchildren. You'll notice I did not use any words like protector, teacher, collaborator, or equal. We are our best cheerleader self. We enjoy them. We have fun. We engage. We actively provide learning opportunities that our grandchildren can absorb and take in. Our core focus becomes joy and consistency and family continuity. We become the protector of family continuity. We don't separate off. We don't try to separate our adult child and have a one-on-one relationship in a way that excludes others. We may enjoy a very strong connection with our adult child, one-to-one. It is not at the exclusion of our adult child's children, spouse, partner, our partner, other family members. Our relational posture as a grandmother is to be gentle, steady, and responsive. We become a safe place, a safe haven for our grandchildren. The thing that comes to mind for me when we talk about this evolutionary process through these 3 stages of motherhood is that motherhood matures as care becomes collaborative. In other words, in the beginning, we lead from the front. We are out there carving a way for our family to become a unit with children. We evolve then into what I call a parent partner, walking beside our adult child, or maybe behind them, figuratively speaking. And then we evolve into this collaborator. So what that means to me is that maybe my daughter has children, so I use her a lot as my example. Only my daughter will speak to me about teacher conferences. Oh my gosh, I heard today that one of the kids cannot sit in their chair. They can't stay in their chair. They can't stay focused. They're drifting off. And I know that this child is not ADHD or ADD. I know that this child has a lot going on in their life that's emotionally rooted. My guess is, I have a doctorate in education. I've worked with K-12 students forever. My guess is that his emotional load is overloading his ability to focus. He's distracted by those emotions. And until there's a way for him to process those emotions, he's going to continue to be distracted. So my daughter says, I know this is a really tough time for him. He keeps talking about how sad he is or all these different emotions. And they offered to have the feelings person talk with this child. And so, of course, I'm very interested in this. I'm going to talk to the child, see if he's ready. And then I might say something like, I can remember when you would get in that spot too. You'd get kind of antsy and wiggly and you couldn't stay in your chair. And I agree with you. Usually that was around a time when you had a lot going on in your little head. There was a lot going on that was affecting you externally. That's all. I bring it back to the family. I bring it back to my adult child and my combined or shared experience. And in that, I reassure, here you are, an adult mom functioning in the world successfully, and you had those moments too. So this child will find their way through too. And I am confident that you're doing what you need to and can do to help your child. Just an example. So I'd like you to take this information about these 3 roles and the stages and move it into your circumstances. Apply it to your life now in real time. So I'd like to quickly go through 6 key differences across these 3 generations. For the purpose of this exercise, I'm going to combine mom to an adult child and the grandma role. So we're going to look specifically at the evolution from mom to a child and mom to an adult child and grandma. Okay, so let's take this by topical area. So let's start with nurturing. As a mom to a child, we nurture by providing care, comfort, daily stability, teach them the activities of daily living, make sure that they have the nutritious food they need to our very best. Nothing is perfect, and there are exceptions. We simply do what we can to nurture and grow our children to the best of our abilities. When we move into mothering an adult child, that moves to support and perspective when invited, when appropriate, when we know the emotional temperature is tolerant of and will find it supportive to share examples like I just did about teacher conferences. Our communication, second of the 6, our communication when our children are young is that we explain, we correct, and we teach. Our communication is to help our young children understand the world around them to the degree that they are at any given time maturationally and developmentally able to absorb that information. You know, we don't give them the 12-year-old version of a situation when they're 5. We give them the 5-year-old explanation. As they become adults, we start moving into a person who listens, who validates and respects boundaries. Again, this is a key evolutionary step that we need to take as parents. And if we don't, when we don't, our adult children are calling us on it. They're calling us on it. If we're not listening, we often find ourselves and our relationship on that continuum of estrangement. The sooner we can understand how this, our communication and changes in our nurturing, begin to negatively impact because we're not evolving, the sooner we can slow down that estrangement and keep it from moving up the continuum. We can begin to go back and relearn some behaviors and how we interact with our adult son or daughter. And then when they're ready to hear it, when it's appropriate, when we are invited to, we can begin to demonstrate our behaviors have changed. Our understanding has changed. We have heard them. We are responding to their request to catch up with them, essentially. So another aspect is support. When we are mothering young children, we're very hands-on. Caregiving and management is very real-time, very concentrated, and we don't step away from our children for long. When they're at school, of course, we have other trusted adults who are also helping learn and explaining and correcting. You know, in preschool, we're teaching them how to stand in a line. We have to stand in a line to get to the drinking fountain. That's a life skill. You have to be able to stand in line and wait your turn, figuratively and in actuality, for the rest of your lives. That's important. So that just layers all the way through school. So our support moves from this hands-on caregiving and management into encouragement, reassurance, and trust. This world does not encourage us to trust our adult children. We don't. We are bombarded, as are they, all day long with messages that people are not to be trusted, the world is shifting, things are sinister and dark, and the economy is crashing. There are all kinds of messages out there that breed distrust, disbelief, uncertainty. And we, as the stabilizing force, as the mom in our family with adult children and grandchildren, need to be an emotional anchor. Same thing for dad. Emotional anchor. We need to keep our equilibrium. I will talk more about that in the episode about the evolution of fatherhood. But for this episode, of course, we're focusing on moms and how we need to be emotional anchors and offer stability. So when people get excited and people start debating, we are the calming factor. We stay neutral. Doesn't matter what our opinion is. If we don't stay neutral, the family loses their equilibrium. Boundaries, another of the 6 boundaries. When our children are young, we set and maintain limits for them. How many hours of screen time? How many times do they get dessert in a week? How many hours with their friends? How many hours with family? Do they go to church? Do they have a spiritual life? Do they worship? We make those decisions as they're young and set them as boundaries. As our children evolve and grow into young adulthood and adulthood, we, as moms, also grow and begin to transition to honoring their boundaries, understanding new boundaries, being able to set and maintain our own boundaries, all while keeping the connection open. This is like tap dancing on full speed. This is complex. It takes energy and determination, love and compassion and empathy and patience. And in estrangement, those things are rare to come by. It's hard to find our patience. It's hard to not sit in the pain and hurt, disbelief, anger. It takes a concerted effort to make that evolution into encouragement, reassurance, and trust, where we honor new boundaries and keep communication open. Number 5, connection. When our children are young, we build on daily care and closeness. We have access to them. Now, many of us worked full time, so we'd pick the kids up after a long day of work, get home, feed them, do homework, get them to bed. There wasn't a lot of time. If we were lucky during the week, we had a full 4 hours awake with our children. That's not much time to get a whole lot accomplished. And all while doing all that, building on the day, processing what happened at school, getting homework done, talking about what happened at childcare or after school activities, we have to keep close. So we are teaching, correcting, explaining, and building on care, the daily care, to create closeness. Again, this is complex stuff. It's no wonder being a parent feels overwhelming at times. It is overwhelming at times. I mean, who doesn't get overwhelmed? So how do we get ourselves back to zero, to center? That is the challenge for you and for me, especially when our relationship is at some stage of estrangement. So then, as a mom and a child and a grandmother, our connection begins to be built on choice, tone, consistent respect. We are the anchor. We are the emotional stability. And if that's the case, then our choices, tone, and respect of others and of ourselves and of people's boundaries and relationships stays consistent. We stay reliable. We stay even and steady. And I know you're rolling your eyes and you're saying, what the heck? This woman has drunk the Kool-Aid. And I couldn't agree with you more. This is so easy to talk about and look at on a sheet of paper. It is almost impossible to do in real time. And yet, that's the challenge ahead of us. So, there are a number of episodes that talk about catastrophizing, about self-worth, about how to understand high emotional days and how to manage them, how to say no. Make sure you're going through the other episodes and looking for related topics to help you understand and create a plan for yourself on how to maintain this role that we're talking about that is Herculean, that is beyond possibility almost. Okay, last of the 6, it's legacy. You might be surprised at that, legacy. As a mom to young children, we're teaching values. We're teaching values through involvement, role modeling, conversation, what we allow our children to watch, to participate in, the video games they play, the language that they bring home from school. My grandsons at 8 years old came home with words I could not believe were in an elementary school. Well, that sounds a little prudy. I was so relieved at conferences. I was invited to that particular parent conference. I was so relieved to hear the teacher say, well, actually apologize, because there was another child in the class who was having a difficult time not bringing language from their home environment into the classroom. And because of that, the other children in the class were being exposed to it. So there was a lot of reassurance about that was being worked on, and they were working with the parents. For me, it was a relief because then I understood that this was seeping into their life, where it was seeping in, and how I, as grandma, could model difference. So instead of me giving them a lecture when they would use a word that was not appropriate, instead of giving them a lecture about that's a bad word, we don't use that word, that's a mom's voice. That's not my role as grandma. My role is, as I chose to apply it, when they would use a word that I knew was not appropriate, my response was, wow, that's not a word I'm comfortable with. I'd like you not to use that word when you're around me. That word is not comfortable for me. And then we'd go on about our business. It was all about our relationship being steady and leading by example, role modeling, and grace. I didn't ever say a word about that other child. Those parents and that child had their own challenges, and I am not here to judge them or tell them they're wrong or that we're better. We all have challenges when we raise our children. And so that's legacy. So where I go with that, where I go when I need to remind myself of these stages, I remind myself that influence grows stronger when control grows softer. I don't need to control the outcomes. I'm not responsible for the outcomes of my grandchildren. I am responsible for my influence over them. So again, this is very complementary to the mom, to the adult child, and to the grandma, to our adult children's children. It's complementary. Influence grows stronger when control grows softer. Now let's just take a few minutes to talk about flexing between those two roles. It's very important. We have to stay in the right lane. Someone asked me the other day, I don't know how to deal with this. My daughter keeps asking me to do laundry. When I say, how can I be helpful? She says, would you just go fold the laundry? There's a mountain of it on my bed, and I just really need those clothes folded. Well, I asked, right? So having asked and having that question answered, I'm now feeling obligated, if I'm this woman, to fold the clothes. And I want to fold the clothes. I want to be helpful to my daughter. At the same time, my plan was I was going to take the kids to the park. That isn't what I was told would be helpful. And so now I have this dilemma. Do I move into the grandma role and go to the park? Do I stay in my mom to my adult child and fold the clothes? So I work to find a happy compromise. Compromise isn't always happy. So my suggestion in this scenario was I would respond by saying, I would love to fold those clothes. By the way, I do love to fold clothes. And my grandkids help me fold clothes. It's not an isolated event. I mean, I model taking care of your clothes by teaching them to wash, dry, and fold their clothes, put them away. So that was going to be a team exercise before I was ever going to fold those clothes by myself. Doesn't matter how old they are, they can match socks at a very young age. So my flexing then was to say to the daughter, or my recommendation, I would say to my daughter in this case, I'm absolutely committed to folding those clothes. We're going to run to the park for, put a time on it, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, and then we're going to come back and we're going to fold those clothes. Or you could flip it. Kids, come on, we're going to go fold the clothes for your mom. We're also doing this for the whole family. Your clothes are in here. Let's find them. And you all can match socks, fold shirts, whatever. And by the way, when we're done with this, we're going to the park for 30 minutes. So that's the flex. You find a way to meet both needs in a way that is not exclusionary. It's not black and white. It's gray. It flexes between the two and brings them together. Being a mom to a child where we provide structure and emotional safety, we can also do that as a grandmother. We can be a mom to an adult child, offering input when requested, supporting their autonomy and confidence, and at the same time be a grandmother by respecting the parent's leadership, focus on connection, playfulness, and consistency. So another example, bedtime's 8 o'clock. It's approaching 8 o'clock and we've not quite gotten to read our books. And I have a pretty strong tradition or routine with my grandchildren to read books with them at night. So I ask, honoring the parent's role and leader of the family, I ask, could I have 15 more minutes? Is that a problem, or would you rather they go straight to bed? I ask and I respect the answer. Usually I get 15 minutes, and it's a gift from the parent to the child. The children are ecstatic. I don't ask the question in front of the children because if the answer is nope, they've got to go to bed, I don't want to villainize the parent. So I can return to the children and say, Mom said we get to read books. We have 15 minutes. Get the timer. Or I can say, yep, tomorrow's a really big day. Your mom and I think we probably need to not read tonight and go straight to bed. So I align with my child, and I still speak to my grandchildren as a role model and a supporter, a steady voice. I don't throw my adult child under the bus. That is another example of flexing. So here are some questions you can ask yourself when you get into one of those positions. How do I support and what would be welcome to my adult child right now in this instant? What would they want to hear? What could they hear? And what message do I want to send? Am I trying to fix or understand? Remember, our role as grandma, our role as mom to an adult child, or grandma to our adult child's child, is not to fix, it is to understand. So if we find ourselves answering that question with, I'm trying to fix it, we need to reevaluate. If we come up with the answer, I'm trying to understand, we're golden. Move forward, green light. How can I model calm presence today? Our days are frantic, more frantic if we are the mother to a child. As a mother to an adult child, we get to step back a little bit. And we get to step out of the fray and slow ourselves down. So there may be a whirlwind going on around us about, I don't know, getting to a track meet, getting to church, getting groceries, getting the dry cleaning, getting ready for a vacation, whatever it is, even from across the country, when there are geographic boundaries, we can be a part of that franticness. And we can help anchor. Wow, it sounds like you've got a lot going on right now. Anything I can do from here? Are there forms I can fill out? Things I can look up for you? Do you need me to order something online? Can I order groceries? Instacart is beautiful, by the way, people. I know it's a little bit more expensive, but anymore, it's really not that more expensive. And then we can model calm. Let me take something off your plate. What can I take? Would it be helpful if I read to the kids for a few minutes? By FaceTime or by Zoom. Zoom's a great tool when you have grandkids. It's free, 45 minutes. And keep the kids occupied while you go take care of whatever it is. Put your makeup on, take the trash out, whatever it is. Practice those questions. Is my support welcome right now? And what support would be welcomed right now? Am I trying to fix or understand something? And how can I model calm presence today? Those are your 3 questions to keep you in that flex between your lanes. a few common practices, and then we'll close for the day. So some of the common challenges when we are flexing between the mom to an adult child and working to be a grandmother through our adult child to our grandchildren. Some of the common challenges when we're flexing between the two roles, mom to our adult child and grandmother to our adult child's children. The challenge comes in circumstances when we disagree with our adult child's decision. I could count on two hands in one day how often I disagree. I mean, I'm pretty strongly opinionated, so that may not be a challenge for you. It is for me. So here are some ideas of how I can respond to that. I can ask for clarification and express trust. So what I'm hearing you say is we need to do X, Y, Z. This is the order and the time we have to do it. And I'm confident if that's what I'm hearing, I'm in. I'll do it. I give them the chance to reconsider and rethink. And if that's what I'm told, then that's what we're going to do. If they ask if I have a different idea, I might ask if there are, specific reasons that we're sticking to that, or what is the time frame, the boundary on the time frame. What's that about? I don't say, well, I think you should do this and this and this. It won't work. We can offer suggestions and gather information, and by having that dialogue, help them process and either commit to what they've said or consider alternatives. So we want to avoid correcting or comparing. Well, this is how I did it. I say it, I hear myself say it, and when I hear myself say it, I follow up very quickly with that's really neither here nor there. I'm just thinking through how did I do it? And, things are so different today. There's great likelihood that makes no difference here. So backpedal, backpedal, backpedal. Try to get myself out of that corner. I have enough grace with my child now that she will let me get myself out of that corner. She gives me that space. So another challenge, feeling excluded or disconnected. Man, that happens a lot. We really are at the back of the pack now. We are outside the nuclear family, their nuclear family. We may still be in their inner circle, maybe. Whether we belong there or not is another episode, another conversation. A constructive approach to that would be to communicate calmly and directly. I'd love to stay connected when possible. Let me know when there's a chance I could join you. So you voice your opinion, you voice your need, you extend the invitation, and you let them know you really would like to be included. Sometimes our adult children assume we don't want to be. Their children are loud, they get embarrassed by their behavior, they understand that we like things a little quieter, we don't like all that chaos as much as we did when they were our children. And so they can assume that we don't want to be included in something. So opening that conversation a little bit by saying, I'd love to stay connected when possible. Invite me when it works for you. I always love to be with your family. What will not work for you is using guilt or emotional appeals. Oh my gosh, I just wish so much I could be with you guys. Or, well, if I were you, I would have invited me. Or why wouldn't you have invited me? Those are guilt, emotional appeals. Not constructive. It puts weight on our adult children. It puts more pressure on them. It doesn't relieve pressure. And as a result, it can increase estrangement, increase distance, increase hostility or irritability. It can increase a sense of wanting to stay away from us. It diminishes trust. So one more and then we'll close. Conflict over family traditions. So when we're in that parent role, we adapt traditions collaboratively. Whose house are you going to be at Christmas? Who is going to be where Christmas Eve? What's going to happen for the specific celebrations, the lighting of the candles at Hanukkah? Where will we celebrate? Fill in the blank for your particular traditions and celebrations. And then we adapt. We begin to flex to meet different people's needs. I've seen people take turns hosting a holiday, And then that person gets to set the tone and the schedule and the agenda and the menu. So everybody gets a turn over the years. I've seen families alternate years. So in-laws and parents agree and everybody's on board to an altering of years. I've seen all kinds of creative, adaptive, collaborative ways to manage what used to be very controlled and specific family traditions. When our kids are little, we get to drive that ship. When the kids grow up, they drive the ship. So it behooves us to be collaborative and flexible. What won't work is interpreting change as rejection. What do you mean you don't want to do it this way? What do you mean you're not going to come set the table for the meal tonight, for our celebration? What do you mean we're not going to have a shower hosted by a grandmother? What do you mean we're not going to go to Vegas to watch the football games in December? Whatever it is. Maybe it's who gets to go trick-or-treating, who gets the Halloween costumes, there are a million traditions that come to us as we grow children. And when our children begin to raise children, they want and really deserve the space to do the same. If we want to maintain and remain a part of that, we need to be flexible and collaborative. Okay, so a few ideas there. So some guiding statements to close. You can nurture without managing. Respect builds stability across generations. Your calm presence encourages openness and trust. It's counterintuitive. We want to be able to control it, enforce it, demand it. Nope. Calm presence encourages openness and trust. I want to encourage you to remain a mother in every season. If you're raising young children, if you are working to be a healthy and trusted mom to an adult child and reestablish a strong relationship there, I want to encourage you to do the work you're doing. You will find positive outcomes. Life is not perfect. Relationships will not be perfect. They will not return to the way they were. The way it wasn't working. We need to grow into this next phase. Think of it as a season. Become wise, grounded, patient. Become that woman who you know you can be with your years of experience and use them as wisdom, not instruction. So to close, I want to say it is my belief, my experience, that motherhood is an evolution. It invites us to become flexible. It invites us to become patient and self-aware. When I'm having a really bad day with my grandchildren, I will call myself Miss Hannigan. And if anybody's seen the play or read the book Annie, you know who Miss Hannigan is. Now, I'm never similar to Miss Hannigan, but the children think it's hilarious. And now we use a Miss Hannigan reference for many different things. It's effective. It's my self-awareness when I began to understand how the children were seeing me, when I became impatient and insistent. It helped us all keep an emotional balance. It helped me maintain my patience and self-awareness. When moms shift from direction to dialogue, from caretaking to collaboration, we become stronger. We build a stronger trust, and we build balance for our legacy, for the generations to come. We're modeling for our children's children's children. That's the gift we're given when we find our way to healthy, respectful, boundary-based relationships with our adult children. I want to thank you for joining me today for this episode and for this topic. This isn't easy, and this is a long episode. So make sure you listen to it frequently. Take it in chunks. I think every time you listen to it, you may hear a little something different. If you find benefit from this episode, and really from any of the When Our Adult Children Walk Away episodes, Please share this with someone who you know might benefit. It's difficult to find trusted and reliable resources in the world of estrangement, and I would like to think that I am one. I also offer on my website, whenouradultchildrenwalkaway.com, a number of resources that I know to be valid and reliable, professionals who I know you can trust. So to learn more about this topic, I'm available. You're welcome to jump over to the website and schedule an appointment with me. Again, I'm Dr. Steinkamp, and I'm so grateful that you joined me today. Stay hopeful, and remember, you're not alone.